Welcome to another edition of Oh Man, That's Awful on Radio Titans, where we explore hilariously awful experiences of both unknown performers or lesser known and citizens and star comics and writers and how they overcame them. This week, our topic is weight, as in obesity. I'm your host, Carl Kozlowski, head of Radio Titans, and my co-host, Kevin Corcoran, is out this week. But in the house are two fascinating and funny guys who have battled weight issues their whole lives, as have I. I've lost 100 pounds since March 2016, and I'm still hoping to lose 30 to 50 more. Meanwhile, one of our two guests, Andrew Solmssen, was born in Brazil to peripatetic parents and grew up in Washington, D.C. as a precocious smart aleck. He now resides in Los Angeles, where he has been seen on Comedy Central, Moth Grand Slams, and various hills in and around Los Angeles. He spends his days making computers work and his nights hearing and telling stories, jokes, fun-em-ups, and other japes. He has already noticed what cell phone you carry. And he's got quite a remarkable story along these lines that we'll be sharing. And also, I'm thrilled to have Bob Zany in the house. He's made more than 1,000 TV appearances in 40 years as a stand-up comic and has found additional success as a weekly fixture of the nationally popular radio program, The Bob and Tom Show. He's one of the kings of road comedy headlining clubs nationwide well over 40 weeks a year, and for many years was a key part of the Jerry Lewis Telethon. He has yo-yoed gaining and losing 100 pounds multiple times in his own life as well. And so here we go, guys. Welcome to Oh Man, That's Awful. So, so I guess I was going to kind of throw it out there with...
First, I just want to say it's not going to be really hard to live up to the title.
I know, with that intro, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And by the way, Andrew, you had me when you were born in Brazil. Thank you.
Oh, sure.
I felt a little nutty.
Okay.
My dad was a foreign service officer.
Was he?
Yeah. He was an American diplomat.
So you were technically an American citizen.
Yeah, not technically. I am an American citizen.
You were born in Brazil.
Abroad.
Okay,
yeah,
John McCain.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a certificate of birth from the State Department.
Okay, well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Did it come with a passport? I'm sorry, Carl, this is your show.
It did, actually.
God, this is awful.
It's so
I have a diplomatic
fascinating.
passport, too. I mean, it's expired, but it was from when I was a child.
Yeah, you got to update those things.
Well, all right. Well, so I wanted to talk about the topic of weight and stuff like that because in our show, our goal is to find people that have an interesting experience that could be seen as hilariously awful. Have you share some of the things that happen along the way and how you managed to overcome it. So, like I said, me and Bob have dealt with 100 pounds at a time, but you really have quite a remarkable story, Andrew. If you don't mind letting people know.
I'll talk about it a little bit. I've been heavy my whole life. I was 300 pounds by the time I was 18. I've lost lots of weight. Hundreds of pounds over the years.
Did you notice the moment you said that about 300 pounds, the ambulance showed? They were ready to take you to the ER, Andrew.
Well, wait for it, because I got to 525.
525?
Yeah.
And did you sell at 526?
I sold out.
We all do.
Yeah.
Look where the hell we are right now.
The beautiful studios of Radio Titans.
The Gaylord Apartments.
Hey.
I was 525 in 2007, 2008, and realized that things had gone horribly wrong and lost about 100 pounds, and then I got very sick. I was gaining weight back. I got up to about 480, and an old injury that occurred when I was beat up in my car in 2004. A crazy rich guy full of drugs jumped in my car and beat the snot out of me. And I got a hernia trying to get him off of me. And in 2013, the hernia almost killed me. I was in intense pain all the time and went to the hospital, and this blonde lady doctor came in, and she was very severe, and she just looked at me and she said, "Mr. Solmssen, you have a very impressive hernia." And as a fat guy, there is nothing I love more than impressing doctors. And so a couple months later, I had surgery, and they had no idea how bad it was until they opened me up. I was essentially eviscerated under the skin. About half of my large intestine and most of my small intestine had come out through this 2-inch hole in my abdominal wall, and I'm very lucky to be alive.
Wow.
And then I was hospitalized 18 times over the next 3 years or so. I had 10 general anesthesia surgeries, 7 of them abdominal, and I started to lose weight. When they put all that stuff back inside me, I was tight like a drum. I just couldn't eat. I didn't want to eat, and that was a real novelty for me. And I lost 100 pounds fairly quickly, but developed a big apron of tissue from where everything had been, and then got very sick from that. It got infected, and it was bad, and almost died again. And so I had another surgery where they cut a lot of weight off of me. They cut 40 pounds off of me. And so I was down to 340 and full of hubris, and I was like, well, I can see 200 from here. I know how to lose 100 pounds. I just did it. And then I gained 60. So I was, at the end of 2015, I was 400 pounds and terrified. And I had sleeve gastrectomy surgery. And my stomach is now very small. And we'll talk a little later about that if you want to, because I think people misunderstand what the surgery actually does for you. And since the surgery on December 29th, 2015, I have lost 210 pounds.
Wow.
So I'm under 200 pounds now for the first time as an adult. And I seem to be cycling around 185, 190. And
well, at least you're able to cycle now.
I have been doing some cycling, actually. But I hike. That's my big thing. I hike every day. In the last 13 days, I've walked 130 miles or so.
Jesus.
And it's the best. Los Angeles is an amazing place to hike.
Yeah, but does your Fitbit hate you? Because the Fitbit, usually it's just like 10,000 steps. People call it a day, but not you, and I like that.
No, I like it. 'Cause I actually use a Pebble. I have a Pebble. It's a smartwatch that's now defunct. They actually got bought by Fitbit. But
by the way, Pebble is sponsoring today's podcast. Pebble, the new look in Fitbit.
I hope so, because the Fitbits are kind of ugly, I think. But the Pebble was always this really nice thing to have, and it's going defunct soon. I may have to become an Apple Watch douche, and I'm not interested.
And by the way, Carl, he pointed out to me he's an IT guy, so he knows.
Yeah,
and I like that. I'm very impressed. Because right now I'm downloading all my 8-tracks to cassette.
Good to keep up with the times there, Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm trying.
So, yeah, my life has changed. I'm 330 or so pounds, 335 pounds less than my peak, and I hike every day, and what I can do has changed so much. Right around my birthday, I went up Mount Baldy for the first time.
Wow.
Which was a great hike, and I'm not real interested in doing it again soon, but it's different. I mean, it's so weird being thin.
And
so weird.
I've done that hike, and this is the irony of Mount Baldy. It's a very hairy hike.
Yeah.
Hairy.
Yeah.
Baldy.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm so behind. I gotta really chug some
I
coffee.
apologize.
I think you should.
My story is, I have a story too, but it's not like yours. My God, I want to cry, but you've overcome all this, and people have to know the journey.
Yeah.
It's all about a journey. It's not about, the final product. Because once you lose the weight, it's now what?
Exactly.
That I always equate it with putting sod in your yard. The first day it's great. By 2 weeks it looks like crap. If you don't maintain it, if you don't
well, that was
take
the thing
care of it.
for me when I got home from the hospital after the sleeve. I realized I'd made this enormous decision about how the rest of my life was going to be. I had completely changed my relationship to food and completely changed how and what I can eat. And it was a big thing for me to get over because food had always been my solace, my comfort, the only thing that had really given me any peace or satisfaction over a long period of time. And so to give that up for the rest of my life was a big deal.
Well, I always say my 2 addictions are food and women, but food you can get anytime you want. But I guess Harvey Weinstein's the exception to that rule.
Wow.
Look how I made it topical.
But it was interesting to me because I had always been very moderate in every other part of my life. You know, I can take or leave drugs or women or cigarettes or alcohol. I don't care about those things very much, but I always cared about food. And what the surgery did for me that I think was very special is it took away that wind that is always blowing me at food. I was always hungry. Even when I was full, I could eat. Do you know what I mean? No, there was never a moment in my life where I thought, you know, it was a dominating impulse in my brain all the time. And what the surgery has done for me as a formerly obese person is it's taken away that cancer of the appetite that I had. They cut it out of me. It speaks to the stomach as a hormonal organ as much as a digestive one.
For me, the thing was that I didn't eat like a ton of food every day. But I ate I didn't eat really bad stuff. I ate too much of just about everything that I would eat. But I wasn't a big dessert person or things like that. But then if I went to like a party or like a media event or whatever, because I work in media, it's like
free food.
It was like, oh, I'm going to have everything. I want some of everything. It was almost like it was like a game. Like, how many times can I grab the appetizers and have as much as and it's like I look back and I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? But it was constantly like,
it was free.
Yeah, I think gluttony and penuriousness are related sins. Yeah.
There's a motivational speaker named Jacob Glass, and he says you should love your fat because everything you love leaves you. It's how you look at it too. It's changing the outlook of the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's a struggle.
I think for me, what made a huge difference was coming home from the hospital and realizing I'd made this big decision, and then it meant nothing if I didn't do the rest of it. And so I went to Runyon Canyon. I live in West Hollywood. It was fairly easy for me to get there, and I just started walking up Runyon Canyon, and I don't know if your listeners know Runyon, there's a couple of different ways up. I didn't know that at the time. I went up the hard way, or the sort of medium way, without realizing it. And it starts slow, and then you get to this section that is just very steep, big wooden stairs on a hillside. And I was 400 pounds, and I looked at that, and I said, I can't do that. And I turned around and went home. And then the next day I went back, and I just looked at that staircase, and I said, I'm doing that. And I got down on my hands and knees, and I crawled up. And it really wasn't made any easier by this old guy behind me who was clapping his hands and yelling, bravo, bravo, like this. And that guy pissed me off. And I just, but it gave me the juice I needed to get up the hill.
Well, I thought the reason I was laughing, not that he was being an asshole, I really thought that this guy was like cluelessly cheering you on, or was he not?
Well, he thinks he was being helpful, and I think a lot of people would think he was being helpful, but I found it patronizing and mortifying.
Now, do you find when you're scanning TV channels where you get to the Bravo channel, you just can't watch it anymore?
No, Andy Cohen, he does not want to watch what happens here.
I'll tell you, one of the big things in my weight loss is I don't watch TV at all anymore.
Yeah, I don't watch much either. Yeah,
I just, it's not good time.
Yeah, you feel like you're making up for lost time, right?
Yeah,
I'm like boom, boom, boom now. Yeah.
Yeah, I hike 3 to 6 hours a day, so it doesn't leave a lot of time for TV.
Wow, that's very odd, but no, that's impressive.
Why is that odd?
It's 3 to 6 hours a day. That's a lot.
It's his new thing.
Bad choice of word, odd. I'm sorry.
It is to some extent a replacement, maybe, but it's also it's a commitment, and it's good time.
But you were right though. You can't immediately get all those steps. You can't immediately do all that. I mean, like look at Sonny Bono. I mean, my God, when he was skiing, he knew he shouldn't have been on that slope.
Oh my God.
Sonny would laugh at that.
Yeah.
All the jokes I do, I know that person would laugh at it. Okay? Because they have a great sense of humor.
Well, one of the Kennedys died in a skiing accident as well. I think they were throwing footballs to each other, and he didn't pay attention and careened into a tree. And when that happened, I was like, by now, shouldn't all the Kennedys have permanent helmets affixed at birth? But anyway. Okay, I guess that one didn't fly. Thanks.
No, actually, it's a great idea. That's the problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, So Bob, I mean, I guess cutting over to you here, what was a point for you as far as did you always Were you always a big person, or did you start at a certain age? Like
I've lost and gained more pounds than the London Stock Exchange. That's how I look at it. I started, 4th grade is when I started gaining weight because I changed schools and I had no friends and food became the friend.
Me too. Puberty was sort of where it started.
Wow. I was like, when I really...
That's what I kind of like the way he said the puberties when it started.